Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibis? Welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. Good to have you here. It's Saturday. I hope you're having a good one wherever you are. We're going to jump into this Rachel Morin press conference where a suspect has been arrested. But first, if you're watching on YouTube, you know the drill. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, share it with your friends, and you can ring my bell if you want notifications of when I post new content. Click that little bell icon. Don't pass out. I'm going to skip the music fact of the day and we're going to jump right into this press conference. Just a recap. Rachel Morin, 37 years old from Bel Air, Maryland, mother of five, went for a run on August 5th around 6 to 6:30 p.m. She was reported missing that night at 11:23 p.m. by her boyfriend. She went to exercise on a popular jogging trail called the Ma and Pa Trail. This is a place she frequently went to exercise, and it's usually populated with pedestrians and bikers. And she was seen on the trail by other people at some point before she was killed. This murder and sexual assault was committed in broad daylight. Violent crime is not a normal occurrence in the area, and deputies did find her car parked at one of the trailheads. The car was locked, and her body was found around 1 p.m. that next day on Sunday. Someone on the trail that day said it was crowded and there were a lot of women walking alone. When Rachel was found, she had visible trauma, and it was clear her killing was violent, from what we've heard. Law enforcement revealed the suspect, Victor Martinez-Hernandez. He actually killed a woman in El Salvador last January before illegally coming into the United States. Once he was here in the States, he was involved in a home invasion in Los Angeles in March of last year, where he attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother. The DNA from that home invasion linked the suspect to Rachel's murder pretty early on in the investigation, but he was not in CODIS, so there were no matches. That DNA was traced using ancestral DNA. Investigators also traveled to El Salvador as part of their efforts to identify him. A few weeks ago, on May 20th, on what would have been Rachel's 38th birthday, law enforcement got a break in the case that led to the arrest of 23-year-old Victor Martinez-Hernandez of El Salvador. The lead was related to DNA that they got. The FBI spokesperson said genetic genealogy is helping solve cold cases and current cases, and says this is a game-changing investigative tool. Thank goodness for that. I'm so thankful that we now have this new avenue to get violent predators off the street and also help solve cold cases. The agent talked about conducting interviews to learn more about the subject, obviously with people who knew him. The agent also revealed that since 2018, the FBI has seen 130 cases solved by genetic genealogy. They got the arrest warrant yesterday afternoon. They did notify Rachel's family, but they asked to keep that information private just to not tip the suspect off. The arrest happened last night just before midnight, June 14th, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He was found hanging out at a storefront. Police encountered him, and apparently he's a charge there in Tulsa for trespassing. Investigators knew the area he was in. My understanding of what they said at the press conference is this is how they were able to get him when he was detained on that trespassing warrant. Technical assistance also helped to pinpoint his location. Hernandez was in the Bel Air, Maryland area for some time, either right before or after the homicide. They are asking the public if anybody has information to reach out to the Hartford County Sheriff's Office. They want to build a timeline now that his face and his name are known. Rachel's mother spoke and thanked law enforcement for their hard work. She says a lot of times we don't see what goes on behind the scenes, that real work. She said when it seemed hopeless to her, the lead detective told her patience will win in the end. She gave credit to law enforcement for their hard work that led to this arrest. She also thanked the press for keeping Rachel's story alive. Also, people sending in tips, which greatly helped law enforcement. And then she said how grateful as a whole she is for law enforcement. During the question and answer portion of the press conference, the sheriff said Hernandez is on an ICE detainer and will face these charges in Maryland. He said he hopes Hernandez spends the rest of his life behind bars in Maryland. Hernandez worked a few odd jobs and really didn't lead an expensive lifestyle. Hernandez went from Los Angeles to Maryland to Virginia, and now we know they got him in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And like they say, who knows where else this man has been? They know he had connections in the DC and Virginia areas and Prince George's County. He has ties to known gangs in El Salvador for the murder there that he committed in January of last year. There is a red notice, which is an Interpol warrant for his arrest for that murder. He doesn't know if Rachel was targeted or if this was a random attack. They do believe he spent time in the area and may have seen Rachel in her normal routine. They do want to talk to him in the days ahead to see if they can learn more and find out if it was a crime of opportunity or something else. He's currently charged with first degree murder and first degree sexual assault. Investigators are on the way to Tulsa and he will be extradited, but that can take anywhere from 10 up to 30 to 60 days, depending on if he fights the extradition. Maryland does not have the death penalty. Curious to see in the days and weeks ahead if people who worked odd jobs with him or got to know him while he was running around this country killing and hurting people, what they have to say about him. But that was pretty much it from the press conference. The best news of all is that this very dangerous predator is off the streets and behind bars. I hope you guys have a good rest of your Saturday. We'll see you soon.